This
Bag.
conference will now be recorded.
Sorry.
No kidding. Okay. Now we got to be careful. And I just want to just say that they're working really hard, doing a good job, and keeping things functioning well in a very difficult environment. So we are lucky to have them. As just an aside, I reached the pinnacle of success that I haven't had since high school. I was interviewed by the New Trier News today by a junior editor, and that hasn't happened in truly quite some time. That I was interviewed by the news. It used to be a big deal. It probably still is. And she was interested in how we were handling all of our things, and we may get press out of it, we may not, but I felt good. All of the community service checks went out on time. When they get received, that's up to the post office. But they left our office on time and they all went. So if people hadn't gotten it, I'm absolutely certain we would have heard from them or will hear in the near future. And that came about because of the incredibly hard work of Jean, who worked on it while she was ill, and Diane, who does damn near everything for us. But so I'm really pleased that they went out on time, and I appreciate the hard work of Jean and Diane on that. I think that will sum this up. The next thing on the report would be Jerome. And
All right.
hot news on the annual town meeting.
Well, at 6:30 tonight, we received word that the governor, so I mentioned they had a lot of pressure from across the state, with 1,400 groups wondering, they don't want to violate state statute, but then what do you do in unprecedented times? So I follow the lead from our local. He's one of the most senior clerks in the whole state. He's been clerk forever, and he's an attorney. He's actually head of the Toy Attorneys Division. And his name is Chuck Levy from Niles Township. And the other day, Chuck just decision. Jack even showed me the Presley. I just adapted it, and then I'd like to put that out, with your permission tomorrow. We're now allowed to suspend it because of, of course, everything has changed. And so he made that call, and then I did a draft, and then Jack is going to send it with your desire to have an annual town meeting, but later. I know last meeting I listened carefully over and over again to the discussion that we wanted to still do a bare bones to meet the requirement, but now that releases from that, one of my big concerns too, we had a citizen group present a petition, and I thought, how was I going to break it to them, or how are we going to have all of them show up online? And we had a very good meeting. You think about what we put together for this one. And it's funny, Jack, I see the publicity up in several places that haven't been able to take it down because there's nobody in those stores. But I'm confident we'll have a very good one. So I guess, Alan, I need your approval to amend to change the decision from last time, just to accept the suspension at a time when it's appropriate.
Right. You have my approval on that. And
So
hopefully
should it be a
we'll
board?
work with the Take-Up Center, get a new date, and
Gail, we can get the same. Chris Kennedy, especially in this time of need, you think about all the things that we're dealing with, that everybody's dealing with, but that the township's role in things, and how ideal it would be to have him again. So I think he and the Take-Up Center might be the keys.
Jerome, can you reach out directly to the citizen group to make sure that they know what the plan of action is?
Sure. I'll
Fabulous.
send that. And you're tired of the Citizens League because they were planning to have a whole group of volunteers. He figured something would happen. I mean, everybody figured, but we didn't want to the dilemma we were all in. We didn't want to take action. But when Chuck did the other day, I was like, he understands. They have to get all the pieces in place to make a final decision. And then, of course, it just came at this evening.
Yeah, this afternoon.
I don't,
Please see that.
Does it need a board decision to change the annual town meeting for a time to be announced? Or is it something that you could just say, we understand that was tentative anyway, because we didn't know if the state would come up with a new rule?
I think that at a date to be announced, because we don't know when the venue's available. We'd like to do it when Chris Kennedy is still available, all of those things, and we just don't know.
But I'm saying that
it's suspended.
So because it was a motion originally, because we have to approve the annual town meeting agenda statutorily, we did do that as an official board action. So I would move today to suspend the town meeting to a date to be determined later.
Okay, so that's a motion. Is there a second?
Second,
Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, opposed? It carries.
can
Okay.
we put something on the township website?
Yes.
yes.
Yeah,
And Jack's
that'll be up right after the meeting. Jack's aware of all this. It'll be up. He had to wait for this approval to take place.
Yep, we can do it right afterward. Yep.
Thank you.
Okay. So thank you, Jerome, on that. Dan, it's your turn.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to give everybody 2 updates. We did finally get an update from the county assessor's office. Excuse me. This Friday is the last day for filing exemptions, so particularly for seniors who may have missed them. But that deadline only means that it's the deadline the county believes is safe for these exemptions to get actually printed on the next tax bill when it comes out. It doesn't mean you can't still file for them. It just means more paperwork and probably more schlepping to get the actual discount taken. The other is that they have reopened for appeals, and we have a new deadline set of May 1st. And there is actually a whole lot more news from the county, but I'm going to wait until it shakes out, until hopefully we're all back together, because there may be some discussion and you don't need to hear it now. So
Okay.
that's it. 2 deadlines.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Anything else?
Oh, that's all for me.
No, okay. This emergency response to pandemic, I'm not sure what that is. I mean, we're doing emergency responses, but I'm not sure what the agenda item is.
Well, today I would like to request, I had mentioned last week, or 2 weeks ago, I suppose, that District 39 had been in contact regarding additional support for students who are on low or reduced school lunch. Not reflected in the draft minutes, so Jerome, get on it. That we had a small discussion, and the discussion seemed to gravitate around a concern that we'd have to make this be a global solution for all of our New Trier Township districts, which makes sense. I shared that concern with the superintendent, District 39, who took that to the rest of the township school districts because they've been coordinating. And she has told them that they do not have any need in the other districts. She says the only districts that are currently would be in need are District 39 and Avoca. The other 4 districts have indicated they have no need for this kind of support and would decline any kind of additional support. But it does look like both Avoca and District 39 are interested in some sort of support, and I feel that there are students, though they are pointing their students and their families to the township's food pantry, and I appreciate that. I've been on those emails. That they're, they still have a huge burden in trying to feed their families when they would normally have been in school. So to that end, I'd like to propose a fund of up to $5,000 from POTS to be provided of $100 gift cards to Jewel for any student, per student who's on a free or reduced lunch in New Trier Township.
John?
Gail, are you able to get a number? How big is the need in 39 in Avoca by the numbers, if you might know?
So
No,
I was told
no.
24 gift cards for District 39.
No.
John?
Please let me make a point here. We should not be taking taxpayers' money and giving it to another taxing body. There is no excuse for that. We ran into this with the Winnetka Park District about 6-7 years ago, and we were advised by council, both down in Springfield and our own council here, unless you go to referendum, you cannot give your taxpayer money that you've collected for whatever reason to another taxing body. The second one, more on the emotional side rather than legal side, is those of us who live in Winnetka are aware of school financing are keenly aware that the Wilmette school districts are very efficient in the fact that the cost per student is way under Winnetka. One of the ways may be that they're shifting expenses off to people like us. I don't know. But I am absolutely firmly opposed to granting, whatever you want to call it, any money to another taxing body. Thank you.
Don, would a solution be to use the Angel Fund as opposed to POTS Fund? And thereby you're not giving away tax dollars, you're giving away money that's donated by residents of the township for the benefit of residents of the township.
Or there's another option
No.
also, and that would be to, if we're doing, you're suggesting gift cards or something like that. They could go directly to the student or the family of the student.
Sure,
And they
yeah,
we're not giving anything to the school district.
true. I will go ahead and take Stefan's suggestion that it come from the Angel Fund and take that as a friendly amendment to my motion. There is precedent for doing gift cards through the school system. I believe that is how we've been doing some of the other programs around the holidays, that we use other organizations and other especially with childcare subsidies, right? That we're using.
We use Grand Foods.
Use grant
We
foods,
don't.
right? Yes, but we do use gift cards that are distributed not necessarily directly from our office, right?
Those
Like
are,
Glencoe, Village of Glencoe don't do their own. We give them.
are you asking about the
Yeah.
holiday gift cards?
Exactly.
These are holiday gift cards that we issue to our clients, vetted
Right.
township pantry clients. And so those go out as a holiday as part of the packages of food and the baskets, whatever that particular case is.
I don't
And
think
where
the-
does the money come from?
Those dollars come from, we will take those out of the Angel Fund. Then we usually do that at the year end is what we do.
Okay.
Okay, so the
Yeah.
Angel Fund may be the answer. Gail, have you been in direct contact with 37?
With 39, not with 37. It was Dr. Cremacholi, I can never say her name, who was in touch with Avoca.
Okay, but have you talked to Avoca District per se?
No. They have a
Okay.
meeting, they have like a all township school districts meeting where they've been discussing all of these issues. They've been doing a lot of coordination on e-learning and everything like that.
Gail, are you suggesting? Go ahead.
My understanding is that the districts, Gail, have identified the families and the students in need at both 39 and Avoca. And the township would deal with these individuals or these families directly. I don't, in response to John's concern, yeah, I don't think that the school districts would be involved. They wouldn't be receiving the funds. They wouldn't be receiving the gift cards. This would be the usual fund of the township directly to the township residents who are in need. The only thing the school districts have done have assist us in identifying where the need is.
Exactly.
John?
Gail, are
What
you
do you think about
suggesting
that?
5,000 total for, so $5,100 gift cards?
I would say up to 5,000. I would start at $100 gift cards per student.
And how many students in the District 39?
24 have been currently identified. I do not have numbers for Avoca other than that they are interested in some support for their food research.
Explain to me, excuse me, explain to me, if you will, why this school district that has a budget probably 5 times what we have, explain to me why they need our money and can't do it themselves.
Well, this money is usually coming from the federal government, and they are clearly not stepping up. So we're going to take care of our neighbors. That's what we're meant to do. But yes, usually free and reduced lunch does not come from the district's budget.
John, it strikes me as a wonderful opportunity for the township, the way Gail presented it, for us to really make a difference for these families who are all township residents.
Before we do that,
Absolutely unprecedented.
let's make sure that Brian Leverance's food pantry doesn't have people standing in line first. And then secondly, if there's a whole bunch of people that the Wilmette folks have identified, give us the names and we'll take care of them. And we'll do it directly. I have nothing against giving these people aid and sustenance, not at all. But let's do it so that we do it rather than somebody else on our money.
Okay, it makes sense.
Has there been a confirmation that these are the only 2 districts or whatever without knowing for sure the numbers if they've declined this? And I'm just thinking of like a consistency is what I'm thinking of, and being fair and equal.
This discussion was had with the following schools: Winnetka, Sunset Ridge, Avoca, Glencoe, Sears, Kenilworth, and New Nature High School. So who have discussed it, and only Wilmette District 39 and Avoca were interested. But we can just send it out to all of the schools and just say, for anybody on free reduced lunch, please know that we have appropriated additional funds for supplemental groceries.
I wouldn't call it school funds.
When you're talking about
No.
2 districts, District 39 and 37, I think we kind of need a specific amount if we're going to authorize the expenditure of money. And if we were to go that route, I would feel much more comfortable with a specific number from 37 as well. It seems like 39 has, they know exactly what they want, and that's fine. But we have no idea, to put a dollar amount attached to it, what District 37 would want. So I would think we would need to find that out, and to do that pretty quickly, I would think. I have no problem giving food to the kids. I think it should be the Angel Fund and going to the families. And that will take.
Alan, before we give money to these districts, should we not check the Glencoe School District and the Winnetka School District?
Because we're going on anecdotal information that nobody else wanted it, which is probably true. I have no doubt that it's true, but we should ask if we're putting a program.
Absolutely.
That's why I was saying, then why don't we just send it to all the districts? I'm sure. I mean, we should have a list of all the districts that Jean uses to talk to the counseling staff. So
we really need to thank the other school districts, because if we were to provide funds for sustenance for these two Wilmette districts. And later on, it became evident we did that. If I were on the school board of District 36, I'd say, wait a minute, how come you never asked us? That's your bad guys. And we don't need that sort of negativeness.
And
And
we'll
they
just find out if they want it or not.
Absolutely. Yeah, no one
Yeah,
is saying
no.
exclude anybody. That's why I made my initial motion was for up to $5,000 in angel fund funding.
I would
I would
approach
sug-
it differently. I would present it as a program which has been authorized by the township for any and all districts within the township to take advantage of. So I would set it up as a program and then go to them and say it's available as opposed to asking them if they have the need. I think it's a better perspective, personally.
Absolutely. I appreciate
With
I
the
think it's
requirement
the way to fit
that these kids were already on free or reduced price lunches.
Right,
So somebody else
and-
on the financial screening.
exactly.
You don't have to do that.
And this would be, it would be noted as a one-time, I'm assuming, one time. And wouldn't it be best to find out the need, if indeed there are other ones, and then determine the dollar amount? If we say the
Yeah,
100,
that's something we would need to do
I mean,
between
right
now
now,
and our next meeting when we would vote on this, is to find out what districts want it.
Yep.
We need some idea of.
well, no, I think the way that Trustee Moser was putting it, we create a program and we have a budget for that program and we can distribute funds out of that program. And students who are at the township schools who are receiving free reduced lunch are eligible for that program.
The other
we still
concern
need-
is that if you wait, for our next meeting, which we haven't set yet, you may be after the fact and it won't make any difference. So I
That was
think
my
it's something which constitutes an emergency, which needs to be addressed on the front end, not on the back end.
couldn't agree more.
if we set up a program and make it available to all the school districts in the township, shouldn't we want to make it clear that it'll come out of our, whatever it is, angel fund, if we use
Angel
that?
Yeah.
That we really have to provide funds directly to individuals, not to the school districts.
Absolutely.
The school districts may recommend them, and that's terrific. They would be doing the clearance for us.
Right.
But we have to give the money to the individuals.
Right.
We being the township.
and then what?
As a point of clarification, I want to know, you're suggesting that these gift cards go to people who are already qualified to get the food service from the districts. But isn't it true that there may be new people in the township who are in need, who aren't necessarily qualified at this point, but mom and dad both lost their job last week?
Yeah.
I just asked.
Yes.
On their own and get full
Angel.
pantry benefits, all that.
Well, I
And then
wonder
the
if it should be a more global program than just for the people who currently qualify. I don't know, I'm just asking.
Who
I think-
currently or would qualify? Who would
Yeah,
meet
part
the
of-
requirements thereof?
And then
This
how
is-
would we vet them? Would that be
My
done through?
understanding was this was to replace the school lunches that the people weren't getting
Yes.
because of the current situation. This is an emergency program. So if they weren't enrolled in school, they wouldn't be already pre-screened. But this
Right.
program is only to make up for what they're losing in not getting the free lunches. So any family can come to the township, meet with Gene, get screened and get all the services we have. But this
True.
specific emergency program is to replace the lunches.
Correct.
Yes, that's
Okay, I accept that.
They're going too broad. We're open, I don't know, it doesn't sound right.
a good point.
So then who will,
Would like to
we
make a
we will
motion.
need the list and the names and addresses and that, Gail.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's the next point.
Right.
But before that, do you want to change the motion then to what we just we're talking around having the angel fund and
I did that, yes. I did that after trustee Moser made the point about the angel fund. Yes, I did amend it.
get that, Jerome? You're
I don't think I've had a second though.
Jerome, you're on mute, Jerome. Jerome, you're muted.
Now.
Jerome, we can't hear you.
All right, is there a second?
So the idea is if the angel, will get names of and addresses from these school districts, the two that Gail has already brought up, and we'll make sure that the heads of the other school districts know that we have this emergency program. And the qualifying will simply be done by the school districts when they supply the name and address, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay,
So we still don't have a second.
I'll second it on that basis.
Any more
I
discussion?
have one other issue.
Oh,
I
yeah.
have one other issue, and that is how far will $100 go? And I mean, that it's a nice gesture, but it's just a gesture because $100 is not going to provide many meals for a family in need, from my perspective. Maybe I'm wrong, but I guess we go out and go ahead.
This isn't replacing the family budget. This is for
Right.
those kids who are losing the lunches from the school.
I understand that, Alan, but I'm asking if $100 is an appropriate replacement value.
I wouldn't think so.
I would be open to considering a different
Here's the thing. When you're one of those families who depends on student lunches for your kids, and those lunches have been taken away, and we have an unprecedented health crisis, and these parents are trying to make ends meet, I think every little bit of assistance we can offer helps. And I trust these kind of families to stretch those funds and to use them wisely. And we're talking about a handful of families, 24 families in District 39. These are people that are really down and out even before the pandemic. So I think that every little bit helps. But I don't think that the sum of $5,000 is unreasonable. I'd love to get some Avoca numbers, but I'm wondering if they'll be similar to District 39.
Or District 36 may have twice as many. Who knows?
right.
I have a question. The response from the high school is that they weren't interested. Is that because the Glenbrooks, we have enough students on free and reduced, particularly at Glenbrook South, that instead of canceling the food service contract, they have them preparing food. So is that what New Jersey, so instead of just throwing that money away, our food service is actually making meals for those students? I'm just curious if New Jersey.
I don't know if that's the case. I know many schools are doing that, but I can't speculate.
That would be a big number.
Cafeteria announced that
You
they
would
were
think.
providing the meals.
They are providing the meals. That's why. Okay.
Okay.
Now, what's going on with Loyola and why, I don't know about
Regina.
North Carolina and Virginia.
Yeah, I have no idea how it works with federal programs if you go to a private school, because I know they don't have any rights on special ed. So do they lose their rights also for free reduced lunch? I don't know.
I don't know. Although I don't think there are too many at North Shore.
Do we know if
But I don't know.
the Glencoe and Winnetka schools are not operating their kitchens so the kids don't get meals, and the ones that we're talking about, the parents are, if you will, destitute, are starving, whereas a lot of kids are okay at home? Do we have any idea if the locals in the other two villages, the schools are operating their kitchens or not? I don't know.
I follow them all on social media and I haven't seen anything, but so if they are, they're not making it clear. And certainly the schools that are, like Glenbrook and Evanston, for instance, are making it very evident.
One other question, Diane, you may know more easily because I can't find it in papers that are littered all over here. How much assets do we have in the Angel Fund at this point?
Diane, your mic is muted. Okay.
Sorry about that. I would say probably 105, 110. It probably is
Oh,
a little higher. We haven't done the reconciliation for the final year yet. We do, just to make a note of this, that those dollars that are donated are not all for the pantry. This is our 501c3 at the Northern Trust Bank. And those dollars are also used for what we call emergency, if you will, or one-time expenses that people are not eligible for from the state, either in, EA or GA, and it is a one-time thing. So the question is the different, we're not going to use that whole amount, obviously, for that, but we want to be aware of that those dollars are oftentimes given for the Angel Fund specifically and not for pantry dollars. And these would be earmarked as pantry dollars, in my opinion.
Well, if we're limiting ourselves to $5,000 at least initially.
Right, we certainly address it.
Right.
No.
Right.
Well, whoever said $100 was not enough is probably right, but I have no idea how much is necessary, nor is $5,000 going to get chewed up in 2 days, or should we be thinking more, or what should we be doing?
Or a month worth of lunches. We're looking at least through the end of the month, if not 2 months.
I don't know if there's enough time before the emergency's over.
Yeah,
just some simple math. $100 is $5 a day for 20 school days. It's roughly a month's worth of school days.
Right, I was using $5 as well. I thought that was probably likely.
I'm going online right now to try to find any information about District 39 lunches during COVID-19, and I can't find anything. All these
Right.
smaller schools, they want kids to stay home. They want families to stay home. I can't imagine they want them coming in for lunch or picking up.
This was why it came about, as I originally had asked some members of the Board of Education what they were doing about school lunch.
What they say.
They said that they didn't have a plan for it. So that's why we discussed it, and hence the idea for the program.
Yeah, I think the only place that has a plan is Nutrare. Does that sound right, Gail?
It does sound right.
I think we should set it up as an emergency fund. Go ahead and see how it goes, and at our next meeting, if we need to amend the amount, we amend the amount.
I would agree. So shall I call the question?
That's up to
Yeah.
you.
I call the question.
All in favor of calling the question?
It's
Might
financial.
need a second. Were you seconding, Elliot?
I will second.
Okay, now we'll call the question.
Supervisor Goldberg,
Yes.
Trustee Eisenberg,
Yes.
Trustee Thomas,
Yep.
Trustee Moser,
Yes.
Trustee Robbins.
Yes.
Okay, now we'll vote on the motion.
Oh, no, that was on the, I think it was voice vote. And we didn't have to do a roll call to call a question.
Sorry.
No, but we did. So,
Okay.
but now we have to vote
Okay.
on the motion itself.
Pardon me.
Would somebody like to, would Jerome be able to read what he's got for the motion? So we know exactly what we're voting on?
Well,
I
I'll
think
be,
Good idea.
I'll be listening to the transcript over and over again. Jack sent me that, so I'll do that this time and get it exactly as it's worded.
My
Your mo-
understanding of how it is currently is a motion to set up an emergency fund out of the Angel Fund to provide grocery store gift cards of $100 each to students who are qualified for free or reduced lunch by any of the Nutria Township school districts,
With
up to $5,000.
reserve of $5,000.
Yes.
5,000, right.
One thing that, the way they worded the motion That sort of makes every kid that gets a school lunch eligible. And somehow we got to.
Qualify for free or reduced lunch.
That was the original intent.
Yes. If you're qualified for free or reduced lunch, you've met already the income requirements.
To John's point, what he's saying is there are people who are on the same program, but for whatever reason aren't articulating a need, because you got to believe that there's more than 24 people in 39 who are on that federal program. So that's John's point, is the way you worded it, it's everybody that's on the federal program is entitled to this, as opposed to just those who have asserted a need.
I would say everyone who's on the program is entitled to this, yes.
And those in need would be defined by the school district. They would tell us, I
Correct.
think. Which,
Right. By the
So-
fact that they're on reduced or free lunch, they have a demonstrated need. That's the point.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, is everyone all right with it now and we'll vote?
Yeah.
Okay. Do we need a roll call or not?
Yes.
We're gonna be spending money. So Jerome, you did it so well last time.
One last question before you go there. Gail, are you going to reach out to the private schools as well and ask them what their situation is or not? Is that part of this or isn't it?
That is not what the intention of this program is. This
Okay,
program
that's fine. I'm just asking.
is a public.
Yep.
Certainly anybody who goes to those schools are welcome to come to our pantry and obviously get trained, so.
Yep.
Supervisor Goldberg,
Yes,
trustee Eisenberg,
Yes.
trustee Thomas,
Yes.
trustee Moser,
Yes.
trustee Robbins,
Yes.
motion is
the motion's carried. Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Okay. Okay, the next item on the agenda is old business.
So I think this is considered old business because we brought it up a few times. I think Diane was going to give us an update on electronic donation abilities.
Yes, what we are doing, I don't think this was old business. I think we had talked about it, I think Gail via our emails.
Okay.
But we're currently in the process of creating a donation application on our Civic Plus website. We are
Mhm.
working with Civic Plus. Gail, you had mentioned some other options. Someone had reached out to Brian Leverins as well. Given that we want to make sure that we protect the 501c3 and work in concert with our team on the Civic Plus, it will also provide for that other level of what it would ownership type of thing. We are having that going to the Northern Trust, and what that will be, hopefully in the near future, it'll be online. There will be a form or however they prepare that so that people can do those donations directly to the Angel Fund Inc. And it's not considered a government account because it is a 501c3. So it is, we have certain things that we have to make sure and ensure the safety of it. So as soon as I get an update and it is operating, I will let everyone know.
Okay.
Diane, can-
Obviously that's important and that's the necessary next step is to get it on our website. That was slightly different than what I was suggesting in our email. So let me just give people a little bit of background. So, I mean, certainly we've had a number of people ask us about electronic donation abilities because right now you have to print out a form and then send a check, which, I mean, no. So we've had a lot of people, especially lately, ask how they can make donations from their homes, especially when they're social distancing. So some people had asked about doing a GoFundMe, which we weren't ecstatic about. I had looked into PayPal, which is probably what
No.
but right. But this is completely separate. Was the concept of the Facebook fundraiser? So essentially, we are currently on GuideStar as a 501c3. I'm sure many of you have used GuideStar to check your nonprofits before you make a donation. You can go through there and it says, they're 3-star, 4-star, they, they're what's their operating budget, that kind of thing. So it's used by many people to assess whether or not a nonprofit is good. So that's GuideStar Network. Facebook fundraisers can be done 2 ways. One is you can give directly to an organization that is signed up with Facebook, which is obviously the easiest, and that would have required us to have already been set up to accept our electronic donations, or it can be through GuideStar's Network for Good. So because GuideStar knows that we're a 501c3, we are listed on Facebook as an option for donations on Facebook fundraisers. So then people can donate money through Facebook through GuideStar, and then GuideStar is going to write a check to the Angel Fund. All right, so that we're not even there.
Right, and that would be reasonable. That would be reasonable. You had indicated that we were going to do electronic transfer, and I think
from them, from GuideStar, we would get the money. Yes, we would get the money.
That would be the best way.
Yeah, we can do a physical check. It just, that's just a little analog.
Can't you just set up on our website a donation to the Angel Fund? I don't see why you're going through third parties. And I, for one, don't use Facebook. And I'm sure there are a lot of others that don't either. That's a younger generation platform. So why can't we just do it on our own website?
We are doing it on our website.
That's what I was referring to, Stefan, that we're working with our website, and there will be that forum. What Gail is discussing is a option on the Facebook, and had indicated, Gail, in the email to me that it would either be by check or a transfer, and the check is a reasonable accommodation if indeed we want to do that. If we want,
it's certainly a lot slower, but so you do not need. So people would have the option, is what I'm saying, Trustee Moser, to go to our website or through these fundraisers. And basically the advantage of the fundraisers is that it leverages social media pressure, peer pressure, to raise funds. So essentially, someone asks me, how do I give to the Angel Fund? I post to my Neutral Township trustee page saying, you give by pressing here. Someone can literally just press and click $20, $50, $100, $250 or other, and it automatically gets deducted from their PayPal account. So
I get the concept.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't like involving third parties.
You don't have to do it. I've had a lot of good luck with it. To be honest, currently I have $733 raised in the last 2 weeks for the Angel Fund on there. So it's been very successful already. I use it all the time for March of Dimes. They highly encourage you to use it. And I've had only success using Facebook fundraisers for them. So.
Gail, have you used Facebook to raise funds for Angel Fund already?
Yes.
oh,
I
Wow.
find that inappropriate.
I don't.
And I'm not in favor of doing anything with relation to Facebook or other third-party platforms. I don't think it's an appropriate avenue for the township. So I'll express myself in the vote, but that's my opinion.
Okay, the current fundraiser is not township sponsored. It is sponsored by me in my political capacity. It is not sponsored by the township.
Okay, well, there's a difference.
Absolutely, it's going to the Angel. It'd be the same as when I had a fundraiser at Valley Lodge, and Valley Lodge gave a percentage. It's the same concept. I am personally running a fundraiser for our nonprofit.
As
fine.
Gail Eisenberg, correct?
Gail Schnitzer Eisenberg, apparently.
I mean, not as a trustee, but as an individual.
As an individual, Gail Schnitzer Eisenberg.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't, I don't have a co-sponsor of New Career on here or anything like that.
But it's for the Nutria Angel Fund.
Correct.
Yes. I'm raising money for Nutria Township's Angel Fund.
John raised some significant money for the township, and I want to commend him on that through the Rotary Club, John.
Right.
Yep.
Similar concept. Using
Well,
your network to raise money for the Angel Fund.
that Diane will probably get a check from Rotary that will not say Angel Fund, and she'll have to get somebody like me who's an officer of Rotary, I guess, to endorse it over to the Angel Fund. Is that what you're telling me? Or can the,
Who would it be made out to? It's going to be made out to Nutria Township.
it'll be made out to Nutria Township, probably.
We could look at it two ways.
And it
If
will
it's
say food pantry on the check.
okay, if it's to Nutria Township and does not say food pantry, we can use it as Nutria Township. And we do support the pantry with our dollars. We basically have been doing so. If we
Well, let's
not-
cut through the nonsense. You want me to call up the guy tomorrow and have him make it out to the Angel Fund?
Yes.
yes, would be the best way. Angel Fund, it would have to be Nutria Township Angel Fund Inc. And the bank is very specific that it has to say Inc. because that's the actual name of the account.
Suppose he's already sent the check and you get it, and it's made out to Nutria Township, and it has a notation on it, food pantry. What happens to it?
In the past, we have had the bank, Northern Trust, deny depositing it into the account because they had had issues. We impress upon people to make sure to fill it out that way. We indicate that even on our website. We certainly could try to deposit, but the probability, notwithstanding, we are in a totally different world right now with the banks and that they might say no. But I would think if he's already sent that, we would certainly try, John. And if not, then we could take it from there and I would get a hold of you.
And I would just like to say on the record that I want to commend both Trustee Thomas and Trustee Eisenberg for these initiatives during this unprecedented time. I mean, these are wonderful initiatives to be encouraged.
Thank
I
you.
agree wholeheartedly. There's just a proper way to do it, and that's all I'm pushing for.
Diane, can you give us a little bit of color under old business on how things are going in the food pantry?
Sure.
Has there been an uptick in need, and are we short on any items?
I'll be right back.
At this point in time, we have received a lot of donations. To answer your question, we are right now not purchasing all that much from the stores. We've received an enormous amount of amount of donations. Again, we'd had Jane and her son to fill the shelves. They continue to prepare the bags. Brian has two students that come in, high school students that are obviously not at school, and they come in once a week to do the bags. Since we started this the week of March 16th through today, the end of today, we've had 101 visits total. And those visits are people that have come requested for the bag that we are distributing. So that's the total amount. That includes people, and I can't give you the breakdown at this juncture, that includes people who are already pantry clients, but they're also people who have reached out. And we also had make sure that they know that we have this pantry should they need that in the future and be interested in the township. We are not getting a large amount of people every day. Yesterday, I think there was 2 altogether. It tends to have a pattern that perhaps later in the week, more people will show up. It has, there's a lot of factors that involve, them getting here, them having the time, or whatever that case is. But the number is 101 visits as of this afternoon.
Diane, are we short on any items? Has there been any improvement, like with things like paper towel, laundry detergent, those kind of things?
We've, right now we are stable, at least that's what Brian had said. He does have a list of things. The peanut butter rush has seemed to subside, uh, so to speak. We have been able to connect with Jewel directly. The woman, the manager there is just incredibly accommodating. We now are giving out laundry liquid for the next week, this week and the following week. We were able to purchase that. We have the supplies. I believe Brian has altered what is in the bag a little bit to include those items that we're receiving. The community is looking and asking what we need, and those people are subsequently purchasing those things. And we do get some toilet paper and paper goods in. There seems to be relaxation at the stores, at least temporarily, or a little bit of more of a not people feeling that there is going to be a hoarding issue that they need.
Very, very good, Diane. It sounds like things are working smoothly, and we greatly appreciate your assistance.
Well, it's certainly a very good team we have there. It might be small, but it's definitely mighty, and everyone cares very, very much about the township. We're doing the best we can.
On the same issue, I'm asking both Diane and Alan whether there have been any new requests for emergency assistance related to job losses having to do with recent terminations or the pandemic. Anything at all along those lines yet?
We do have some requests. I can't identify whether it was directly related to job loss, and that I can certainly have Jean kind of give us a general overview of that. We did process checks the end of the month, and there were several emergency assistance, some routine people, but there are people with emergency assistance coming in. However, that does happen on a routine basis. So to identify, what that need is, I'll certainly touch base with Jean on that.
At this early date, it doesn't seem like anything terribly unusual or untoward with regard to requests for emergency assistance, at least not yet.
No, I did talk with Jean, and it's really the details I won't describe, but I did talk with her this afternoon, and there is an issue that she had been discussing with the police social worker, with someone that had an issue related to the pandemic, and she's going to give us some more details. She's preparing that for Alan, and certainly she'll share that with me as soon as she has that.
Thank you, Diane. Thank you.
We'll address those issues as they come up, and I'll do everything I can to expedite them.
Yes.
That's the best I can do right
On
now.
On the point of expediting, Alan, so are we somehow keeping in touch with the new people who are coming in for bags of food? And I know that we had Larisha reach out to all the pantry clients, but has
Correct.
there been any movement as far as creating automated lists or some sort of, better use of technology in order to ensure better customer service, essentially?
The people we are recording, she is recording, the people who are not pantry users, they are made aware at the door when they pick up their items that we are available, and they're certainly welcome to come back. I don't know at this point, I couldn't tell you if there's been we're now into the fourth week, so we're starting to experience returns. But we are maintaining those names, and we will then follow up subsequently. This is not the time to create the new lists and that. This is the time just to record and make sure that we have captured all of the people who do come in, and make them welcome and make them know that in the future that they're certainly available.
Yes, I'm just saying, just kind of would this need to contact all the clients at once, for instance, kind of highlighted to me the need for us to revisit the automation of the food pantry using types of software that a lot of the other townships are using.
Yes, we had that. In fact, we were getting ready to do that after the installation of our new software. And right now, that would not be an appropriate thing to do. We will be utilizing the visual GA. I think I spoke about this in prior meetings. We're not doing that right now because we're just working to make sure that we address everyone that's in need at this time.
Absolutely.
On the issue of technology, I have one potential suggestion if it's not too hard to implement. I wonder if we could have a little section on our township website where if we're short of any particular item in the food pantry, like myself could go to the website and say, they're short on peanut butter or paper towel, just a little list of anything we're short on to give people a quick, easy way to check. If I want to bring something over, this is what I should try to get. You think
Sure, we
something
do-
like that is possible
We
to
do
implement?
have that. Jack, you want to?
Yeah, we, on the resident services pantry, we do have a pantry list. And in fact, Brian and I were emailing today, and I need to go back in and edit the food pantry website page yet tonight.
So that is already there, Elliot.
Correct.
So we can go to that resident services pantry section and find out what we're short on.
That's correct.
That's right.
Excellent, excellent.
Okay. Is there any new business? Okay.
Wait, Alan,
Yeah.
10 years ago at this time, the township passed a resolution encouraging all residents to participate in the census. So I look at that and then bring it next month. I thought I should bring it before so that it's not introduction, but if I prepare that again, would you be interested in reviewing and approving it next month? Or
Yeah, that'd be fine.
a lot of good reasons. I went to a session recently about the importance, especially on all the government bodies. So
Right.
huge.
Okay, yeah, that would be fine.
I'm not sure how much our declarations encourage people, but we should all personally be encouraging everyone
Yeah,
to get their census in. So
Telling
want-
people about that anyway.
Governmental districts just to encourage people to know that.
absolutely.
Folks, on new business, this is kind of dovetailing into our next meeting, but due to the unprecedented situation we're in, I'd be in favor of another meeting 2 weeks from now. I would not want to put our next month. I know it's not convenient for everybody, but I'd like to keep abreast of what's going on, especially with regard to the school program, the emergency program that we adopted today. I think it makes sense for us to consider a little bit more frequent meetings during this unprecedented time.
Well, what's the consensus?
It's okay with me.
Okay with me.
Okay,
Makes
Not
sense.
going anywhere.
well, what's that?
That's,
about-
that's 3 of the 4 trustees.
Yeah.
I'm
that's
fine.
important. Okay, how about April 28th?
Is that a Tuesday, Alan?
Last Tuesday of the month.
That's 3 weeks. How do you guys feel about the 21st?
That's too soon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds
I've
right.
got to do.
Why is it too soon?
What?
Why do you guys feel it's too soon? I mean, this is a once in a lifetime situation.
Got other things to do. I mean, that's not a good date, that's all.
Oh, okay.
But it's not like we're not meeting pretty frequently. And if you have a specific question or something, if you just email and I'll get back to you right away.
I'm okay with the 28th. I was hoping it would be every other week, but
Well, this week coming up is shot for all kinds of things because of
Absolutely.
Passover. And there's only so many weeks in a month. Okay, so our next meeting then will be the 28th.
Hmm.
And
You
before
can always
we,
call an emergency meeting if you need to.
what?
True.
Good idea.
Uh, Before we adjourn, I want to wish everyone a happy Easter or a happy Passover, whichever one it is. And if anyone's an expert on Zoom, you can get in touch with me. Never mind. I've got
I
to.
have one last question on what we're going to be doing with this angel fund money for lunches. Who's going to contact the Glencoe and the Winnetka School District
Well,
to find out if they want to get involved or if their kitchens are operating?
I would suggest one of two people. Jean has a working relationship with the social workers at all the schools.
Good.
That would be my first choice.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
if that doesn't work, I'll go bother Gail.
Let's
Well, I-
start with, let's
That
start
would
with
be
one.
source of energy. I don't know.
Yeah.
But we'll make every effort to find out.
All right.
Jean's
And then
pretty
Gail, you're gonna give us those numbers from the Avoca then? The ones
We'll
that
get
you-
them directly from their counselors.
I
Okay.
just put out an invitation. Anybody needing any assistance in any of these areas, feel free to call me. I'll make myself available and do whatever I can. Please do not hesitate to give me a call if I can help at all. Gail, John, Jack, Alan, any of you guys.
Okay, that's.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Jack, I also want to commend you on that publicity with Google. I thought that was wonderful.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Yep.
Very well.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, that along with the dispatch and the courier and all that stuff and all your Facebook posts are good. They're there.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Appreciate it.
We'll see it, and whether they respond to those, they recognize who we are more than they ever did.
We've gotten some notes. I've actually had notes from people through Facebook and Twitter where they are anxious to give food. The guy from the village of Glencoe, their PR person, he reached out and said there's some volunteers actually looking for things to do. So I think that's really encouraging. It's really positive.
Blanco, your relationship with those folks has been terrific, and they're really reaching out.
They are.
Okay.
They're really nice.
Ready again to have their parade again next summer. But okay, so I need a motion.
To adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Okay,
Second.
is there a second? Gail did. Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you all very much. And Jack, thank you for making sure this thing worked. So,
Mhm.
We got it almost right this time.
yeah, I appreciate it.
Good night.
You
Good night.
know, I
Good night.
Good night, everybody. Stay healthy,
Good night.
everybody, please.
Okay, bye.
Hey, good job, Jack.
Thanks, Jerome. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for sending me the video because I listened over and over. It's challenging even to see who did what.
Thank you, Jack. I appreciate your efforts.
Thank you, Stefan. Have a good Passover.
Thank you. Bye, Jerome. Bye, Alan.
I said,
What?
Hey, good night, guys.
hey, Jack,
Okay.
can I then
How do I
about
go
the
on?
release and all that stuff? Can I call you tomorrow, or you want to talk tonight about the press release and all that stuff?
Either way, I'll be up for a while.
Okay.
Up to you. All right. Good night.
Okay. How do, there.